that will kind of stick between Luke and Jessica. But, at the end of the day, I'm glad, like, things were smoothed over so we could, reconcile.
Did you think, like, Craig overreacted? Because as a viewer, you're like, the same thing. You're like, what's going on?
I mean, yeah, but you have to take into consideration this was at, like, 3 a.m. We've all been drinking. Like, we're all, like, tired. Like, yes, but, like, whatever. Like, I don't know if he apologized necessarily, but I think, like, he looks back and realizes that he did overreact a bit.
Well, what about Kory? Because you say it's one-sided. I mean, Kory, at one point made a statement that he's pursuing all the women in the house. They just don't know it. Nice and confident there. Like, does Kory have game? Like, was he really playing hard? I mean, it seemed to work, right? I mean, does Kory have a lot of game?
I mean, like, Kory is someone that like, creeps up on you in a way. Like, you meet him, like I said, and you're just like, what is this douchebag? And then you're like, wait, this douchebag's hot. And, like, he definitely has game, but, I mean, like, I've retired from, like, being fucked with, so I really wasn't, like, down for that.
I kind of felt the same way about Kory, too. Like, at first I was like, okay, so who's cute in this house this season?
Yeah.
He wasn't even on my...
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait, he's actually really hot.
All the girls were like, who do you think is hot? And I was like, you guys clearly don't know my type because none of these men are my type. But if we had to go for somebody, it was just funny.
If you had to go for someone, you went for the hottest one there. But we'll get into that in a second. Who do you think does have the most game then, out of all of these guys?
I'm going to say definitely Kory. Like, he's the most confident. I mean, like, we're going to leave out the guys that are taken because that's...
Right.
There's, like,
right.
no point.
So we have Luke, we have Kory, we have Jason.
Austen was kind of ish.
Let's throw Austen in there.
Well, we shouldn't because he's not in. No. But yeah, definitely Kory then. He came off very confident but like not like he's like hitting on you. He was just like down to like have a conversation, He made you feel seen.
I like it. Well, listen, we're debating about Austen here in real time. I mean, that is how was it, like, did you get the vibe that Austen had a girlfriend? Because I feel maybe we thought he had a girlfriend more than some other times that he's had one and acted single. But, like, did you just get that vibe? I mean, I know Olivia, and he talked about Olivia, but, like, as a member of the house, like, was it like this is a single person, this is a taken man?
I mean, he came in I didn't know who Olivia was, so he came in very much like, Olivia, I'm with Olivia. I'm like, okay, who's Olivia? Like, okay, I don't care, but who's Olivia? But yeah, no, I mean, he from what I've gathered from, like, Ciara and everyone else, like, his demeanor towards this girl was definitely way different. And yeah, I mean, he was, for all intents and purposes, taken, but he also didn't refer to her as his girlfriend to us, so... The gray area. Was
Austen trying to play both sides of the fence?
No, he was very conservative, I guess.
I could see that. Did you feel, because like in prior seasons, right, there was this past with like Ciara and Austen. They seem to be, did you feel tension in that, or did they?
1,000% again, yeah. Because I remember like having a few conversations. I'm like, is there something there? Because I feel it there. Like, I don't know if you guys still have feelings, but there's still like a lot of chemistry. But that never really dies between people. It's just something you're gonna like you acknowledge, and you're like, all right, well, it didn't work out. Next.
And she's getting upset at him when he's maybe revealing the last time he had sex and vice versa.
That just comes down to respect. Like, no one wants to hear that. Like, that you don't ever want to like make someone feel bad about that, because like I said, like, you still like have care for people even if you're not like together with them.
Can you imagine if Olivia did come to this house when he invited her?
Forest fires.
That would have been a total forest fire.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see a difference in Kyle and Amanda? Because, I mean, they were very tense before the wedding. I imagine that were they tense clients?
No, Amanda was so lovely, and
Really?
Kyle's very much like all business, like, and I appreciate that like entrepreneur mindset. He kind of like gave the reins to Amanda in terms of like aesthetic, but like no, they were so cool. But also I feel like because it was like 2 weeks out, they didn't really have like an option to push back on things, because they're like, well, if we don't do this, then it's not going to happen. But no, they were awesome, and I also just think like she and I clicked so well, like aesthetically, that there wasn't any like need to be like tense with me, at least.
They were very laid back in the house this time. I'm like, they just needed to get married and just get it out of the way. And now Kyle is like chill and, you know.
They're so cute in the house. I mean, I've heard a lot of things about them in previous seasons, but they really were like a great role model for a relationship this season, like what a healthy relationship looks like.
Who do you think's a better role model, Kyle and Amanda or Paige and Craig?
I mean, at that time, I feel like to say Craig and Paige are a better or more of a role model relationship, that's not fair. But because Kyle and Amanda have been through so much and also have overcome so many problems and issues, so I'm gonna go with Kyle and Amanda.
That's a good. I mean, Craig and Paige have both said at different times, like, you know, doing press and just out there, that they are the model couple.
I mean, what does that mean? Something different for everybody, you know? Like, I think a good, sound relationship and also like a relationship to look up to are relationships that do go through problems, and how you get through problems and like how you work through them is the best example of how like relationships should work.
Do you think that, I mean, listen, Craig has, I mean, at some points in the house, he upset Ciara. At some points, he upset Amanda. I mean, these are Paige's really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Paige has her hands full with Craig? And do you think that they have what it takes to go the distance?
I mean, if anyone could handle Craig, I feel like it'd be Paige. So I think they've met each other's match there.
They seem pretty well matched, right?
Yeah, they're hilarious together. I feel like even though like people are like, oh, Paige puts up with Craig, I'm like, well, Craig probably puts up with Paige too. Like, you don't know like everything behind closed doors, but like they're super cute and like a different type of relationship dynamic than Amanda and Kyle have.
Well, you had some moments in the house yourself with our friend Jason, who I do think is the hottest guy in the house. That's just my vote. You know, does Jason have game? You had to make the first move. Lindsay had to make the first move last summer or last winter.
I see a trend here.
I see a trend here. I mean, does Jason have game? Listen, he cooks, he's nice, he's attractive, but does he have game?
Let me put it this way. I think Jason checks a lot of boxes. Like, you know, like exactly what you just said. He cooks, he cleans, he's obviously a good looking, he's a model, duh. All these things. But like at the end of the day, I'm like, are those the reasons you stay with somebody? Are those the reasons you pick somebody? Like, they're pluses. But I mean, he is of course attractive and not just physically. But I don't know. It took a little minute for me to like recognize some of the other redeeming qualities from him, because I wasn't just looking to check boxes this vacation.
You're so mature. I was just having this conversation. I was
thank
just in
you.
Miami. I was just having this conversation with someone way younger than me. And they were like, should you be focused on like looks? And so they're like, shouldn't you go for someone's personality? And I'm like, oh, this is an interesting concept. Thank you.
I mean, I've been through some shit, and I'm wiser now. I wouldn't say I'm like 100% mature, because you give me a few shots and the wooing starts and who knows, whatever. But yeah, thank you though.
What was it? Because like, right, you weren't just looking to check boxes. What was it?